Okay, guys, 2020 is almost here. And it's really important to know, what do you do with your brand once you come out of this program and everything is perfect and sitting in your folders? Now what, right? So, we're going to teach you the 20 places your brand needs to be in 2020. Since there's so many of these, I'm going to be moving pretty quickly through this, but if you guys have any questions later, please let us know. Okay, the first few are going to be very recognizable to you. They're the ones that we actually do for you in this program. And what we mean by that is those are where we customize your everyday marketing platforms with your new brand. So, number one, your website. Make sure your website is infused with your new brand so that everybody coming to your site instantly knows who you are and what you stand for. As you can see, Nick and Beth Flair-Lagi have got this down, and they actually have their elevator pitch right here on the screen. We use our superior knowledge of Sarasota County and its communities to help active professionals or retirees locate or market a lifestyle to suit their changing needs. Right away, you see their gorgeous picture, you see their Lifestyle Locators logo, you see their elevator pitch. Second, your social media channels. This is an awesome snapshot of Susan Dunham's social media channel. She is from Jacksonville, Florida, and what a gorgeous picture. So we want to make sure that as soon as they hit your social media channels, again, they can see that image that you want to portray. They can dig a little bit deeper by going into the story area and this About Susan Dunham area down here on the bottom right. That's where her biography is. And of course, in the About area that you click on over to the left, you're going to find her elevator pitch and sound bites as well. Next, your business card. So here are just a couple of examples of business cards where we have the elevator pitch right on the front, as well as an awesome photo, beautiful background images that represent them, their markets, and their ideal customers, and of course, their logo. And so that's already done for you as well. Your personalized note card. Here's an awesome note card by Jacqueline Turrentine from Texarkana, and her brand identifier is Real Estate Refined. When she sends one of these out, you can bet people are going to know that it's different. Your spotlight sheet. This you can use in so many different ways, but most importantly, it is designed to set you apart in a way that your brand will precede you. So when you start to send somebody an email, maybe for the first time, you can say, hey, I attached a little bit more information about me just so you know who you're dealing with. Attach this to it. You can print it out, hand it to a prospect. And so that completes the areas that we customize for you. From here forward, you have everything in your Google Drive folder, all of your brand assets. You actually have your brand asset library sitting right there at your fingertips. So you have every single thing with which to market yourself on any platform, free or paid, from now moving forward in that folder. And the formula with which to do it, because you can see how we laid out the design in your cover photos, on your website, your business card, your note card, the spotlight sheet, etc. So moving forward, take those same branding elements and infuse them into everything you do, beginning with your signage. So what you're seeing here is on the right, you see an image of Michael's sign outside of his office, outside the Atlanta area. And of course, as you guys can see, Santa is coming November 30th. But you also see on his sign is his brand identifier for his company, Anything Real Estate. On the left, wherever we go to do speaking engagements, we always do our very best to take this stand-up banner with us that has our images on it and just adds that extra air of professionalism. It has a couple of our book covers on it. We also have a tablecloth that has a big BrandFace logo right across the front. It's black with the orange and white logo on the front. So even if it's a situation where we can't get that particular banner, we can always have some logo and brand identifier presence on at least a table. And of course, we always take books where we go as well. So that's another way. Of course, your yard signs are going to have your branding elements if possible. Some brokerages will allow a little bit more customization than others. So your yard signs, whenever possible, should also have your branding materials on them. Next, your printed materials, your letterhead, folders perhaps for your listing presentation, brochures. And I thought I would share this Think Conference brochure. This was for Michael's annual Think Conference for his top producers. And a couple of things that I want to note is, number one, we put his logo on the front, that even when it's inside your own organization, you don't skimp on the branding, okay? And the word Think Conference, inside those letters, we actually have one of his branding images. In fact, his most recognizable branding image, which is the North Georgia mountains. And that's kind of infused into this. So even though this only lands in the hands of his own agents, it has all of the branding elements in play. Second, your listing presentation. This is vital. You want to make sure that they know who you are and what you stand for at every possible turn. And when you have an opportunity to sit down face to face with them and share that listing presentation and tell them what's unique about you, that is something you definitely need to do. Your email signature. Now, there's a couple of different ways to think about this and lots of ways to do it. So on the right, you're looking at Elaine Chinnis. This is the image that's at the bottom of every email that she sends out. Sometimes an image like this can kind of toss your emails into a spam folder, although not nearly as much as it used to years ago. So you just want to make sure that you're injecting it the right way. But that looks absolutely gorgeous and has a lot of her branding elements in there. On the left, this is a more simple version that I actually use. So you can see it has my title, BrandFace Founder, my own personal tagline, which is branding agent to business stars. And then it lets people know what we do, helping real estate agents differentiate themselves. And then I have links to our websites for agents and for speaking requests. So that's very simple. It's all tidy. It's put into a text format. There is no wrong answer to this. Whatever your preference, that's what we want you to do. And don't forget that in most email platforms or email clients, you have the ability to include your signature in outgoing emails and also in all response emails. I believe in most email clients, you actually have to go in and check a box just to make sure that your signature is showing up not only when you initially send out an email, but also when you respond to someone else's email. You want to make sure that that is in there. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have wanted to contact somebody and thought, okay, I'll just go back to the last email they sent me. That'll have their phone number in it. That'll have some more information about them or a link to their website. And it's not in there because the last 10 email exchanges we had were them responding to me. And in that response, they did not have their email signature on there. They only had it on initial outgoing emails. So make sure that is checked. Next, your requests for reviews. I can't tell you how important reviews are in today's world. And whenever you send out a request for a review, whether it's just an email request or you're asking the client for a review, or you're using a review platform to request reviews from people, make sure you put that brand identifier in there. So that will spark in their mind a way to say something about your particular brand. And so, for instance, if you're the transition agent and you put the transition agent in that request for review, they're more likely to respond in a way that says, hey, this person helped me transition in a very important time in my life. And so you can imagine, like, when people see things, they respond in a like way. Next, your drip email campaigns. Whether you're sending emails out through an email client and doing it kind of the old-fashioned way, or you're going through a drip campaign system, kind of like Constant Contact or Top Producer, or there are hundreds of drip email platforms out there. Whatever you're using, you want to make sure that every time an email goes out, whether it's letting somebody know a new listing has come on the market or letting them know it's time to change the batteries in their smoke alarms, whatever that is, you want to make sure that your branding elements are infused into that. There's no such thing as too many times reminding people what sets you apart. Your postal mail. I mean, we don't send that out too often these days, right? But when we do, your brand must be infused into that. And that means just any letters that you send out. So say, for instance, that you're somebody who would like to have a relationship with certain builders, new construction people throughout your market. And maybe you send out 10 or 15 different letters to a lot of builders. You want to make sure your brand is infused into each and every one of those letters, and most especially if it's your first outreach to somebody. Next, your paid advertising. This is an image of an absolutely gorgeous postcard, the one side of the postcard that Teresa Stark sends out in Fort Lauderdale. And as you can see, it infuses her Home Navigator brand and talks about exclusive lifestyles rich with social connections and waterfront activities. Let me navigate the buying and selling for you. What an awesome infusion of her brand into this paid advertising. But I cannot express how vital this part is. A lot of people will spend a lot of time and money on figuring out where to advertise their services, whether it's a shopping cart in a grocery store or a print ad or magazine ad or flyers or even radio and TV, you name it, you need to infuse that brand everywhere. Otherwise, what you've done in this program, in the BrandFace program, will do you no good. You've got to infuse it every single where you go. It's kind of like what Michael and I talk about. You can have the most extravagant, beautiful party with the best caterer and the best entertainment, and everything can be set up perfectly. But if you don't send out invitations to your party, guess what? You're going to be the only one there. So we need to make sure that, especially where we're spending money, where it really, really counts, that we put our brand out there, it's infused everywhere. Next, into your videos. You guys know videos are so important, and we've actually done a lot of training and have more training coming up on how to do your own videos, to just introduce yourself, how to do property videos, expertise videos, all the things that set you apart from your competition and continue to infuse your brand. What you're looking at now is an example of a snapshot during one of our Be Bold branding videos. So as you can see, we have our logo on the left overlaid onto the screen after we shoot the video. And then on the right, Be Bold branding is overlaid onto the screen. Not only that, think just for a moment past that. Think about our surroundings. But in the background behind me, you see our BrandFace for Real Estate Professionals book right on my desk. Behind Michael, you actually see a photo of the book cover mounted in a frame up on the wall to the left of him. So it's those subtle things that continue to bring the fullness of the brand into play. Next, your blog posts. If you guys aren't blogging, you're missing out not only on a way to get your expertise out there, but a way to really improve the search results when it comes to search engines. So inside all of your blog posts, they should all be ended with or signed off with, brought to you by your home navigator, your empowerment agent. Whatever those elements are underneath every single blog post, that's what needs to be there. Your publication. So for those of you who have maybe an ebook out there or a brochure with some tips and advice, things that are, publications, whether they're online only or printed publications, they could be books as well. Infuse your brand into every single one of those. This is Colleen from Findlay, Ohio, and this is her For Sale by Owner book. And you can see at the bottom of it, it says Count on Colleen, which is her brand identifier. And everything about her brand is represented there on the front. And when you get inside, it even goes deeper into the brand. Your appearances and interviews. As most of you know, we have a Be Bold branding podcast out there, and this is a video thumbnail that we upload to YouTube, so this appears on the front end of every video. And we always like to make sure our logo's on there, of course, the title of that particular episode, and then our BrandFace certified seal over to the left, our image, and just variations of this thumbnail will appear with the same color concept, with our logo, with some of the same branding elements that we use on all the videos. We shake it up from time to time, showing a different layout, but they're all pretty much the same color scheme. They have the same principles at play. So this also applies to whenever you're actually doing interviews like on radio radio where people can't see you, right? Inside that interview, and you continually reinforce that by the way you answer the questions. You frame the questions in advance to the interviewers so that you can make sure that you cover everything you want people to know about you and your brand. So don't forget to infuse it in every single appearance, every single interview, whether you're on video, in print, or on radio, or audio only, as some of the podcasts are these days. Your promotional materials. This includes things that you give out pretty much at events, or things you give out when you come one-to-one with a particular client. So they could be t-shirts, candles, coffee, books, whatever you give away. You want to make sure your brand is infused into that. So what I love about how Sydney, Michael's assistant, does all of their social media is when they do a giveaway on social media, she never forgets to infuse the brand. So whether their logo is on candles that they give out, which they do, or whether their logo is represented in a t-shirt here on screen with their giveaways for their social media contest, whatever that is, Sydney never forgets to infuse the brand. And this is really, really important. Your client gifts. Think about not just the promotional giveaways, things you give away to kind of everybody that you meet, just so your brand is continually in front of them. But think about the nice gifts that you give to your clients, whether it's a box of chocolate or coffee or wine or whatever that is. Make sure that your brand is infused onto that. Never give away somebody else's brand as a gift. Think about that, guys. And then finally, number 20 is your vehicle. Some of you may hate this idea. Some of you may love this idea. I happen to love the idea. This can run the gamut from wrapping your vehicle professionally, which is really awesome, or just getting some magnetic signs that you can put on and take off whenever you want. But I love the concept of having that signage on your vehicle, because if you think about it, it's just a moving billboard every time you're out somewhere. And you would be absolutely amazed how many times people will come up to you and say, oh, I'm thinking about buying a new home. I saw that you are a real estate agent. It's incredible. My dad in North Georgia, small town in North Georgia, has an old, I want to say it's a 1974 or something, Scout, an old International Scout. It was painted bright orange, way before BrandFace came along, of course. It was painted bright orange, which I love because it's always been my favorite color. But my dad had magnetic signs made for his Scout that said Pinewood Apartments before he sold his property investments. He had a sign on there, and everywhere he went, he swears he got a new client. He got a new renter. He said, so many people came up to me. He never had as many apartments as he had people requesting an apartment. So I love that thought process. I've seen it work in my own family, and of course, seen it work over many years in the marketing industry. And these are the 20 places your brand needs to be in 2020.